Hello and welcome. Good evening. This is the Money Show, your trusted destination for investor education, financial awareness, and smarter money decisions in today's fast-changing world. Managing money is no longer optional; it is essential. From rising expenses to changing lifestyles to market volatility and digital investing, every individual today faces one important question: how do I make my money work smarter for my future? And that is exactly what this show is here to help you understand. And finally, this is the show where we also answer all your stocks or your portfolio related questions. So just in case you haven't yet sent across your queries, you should do that and send across your questions on the WhatsApp number that's flashing on the screen, 865-797-4571. You can also email us your questions on the Money Show at etnow.tv, and we can help you formulate a strategy for all your financial goals and help you achieve all your financial dreams that you have for yourself or your family. But let's move on and let's get connected with our guest on the show today. Nisreen Mamaji is here to help you with all your portfolio strategies. Nisreen, hi, good evening and welcome to the show. We're also joined by our first viewer. This is Mr. Pradeep Sharma on the phone line. Pradeep, hi, good evening. How are you?
गुड इवनिंग मैडम, आई एम फाइन, लेकिन मैं हिंदी कंफर्टेबल हूँ मैडम, इंग्लिश में कंफर्टेबल नहीं हूँ बात।
यस, ओके, हिंदी में बोलिए, कोई बात नहीं।
मैडम ये जो मैंने डिटेल्स डाले हैं आपको, इसमें जैसे मेरा पहले से आईटी इंडेक्स में चल रहा था कोरोना से पहले से ही,
राइट।
फिर मैंने कुछ आईटी फंड और ऐड किए उसमें,
ओके,
एसआईपी ऐड की, तो अभी वो है ना मेरे को सही नहीं लग रहा। आगे उसके लिए क्या करना चाहिए और अभी जो मेरे फंड्स हैं वो कैसे हैं, वो रेगुलर रखना मैं या उसमें कुछ चेंजेस करना, वो बताइए।
ओके, मिस्टर शर्मा, कैन आई टॉक इन इंग्लिश?
हाँ, आप बोल सकते हैं, मैं समझता हूँ।
Okay, so you have all SBI funds. I can see SBI small cap, SBI large cap, SBI Contra, SBI multi cap, technology opportunity, SBI retirement fund. One is ICICI Pru Value Discovery and one is Tata Digital India. Is that right?
हाँ, बिल्कुल राइट मैडम, यही मेरे पास।
Okay. What is the corpus that you want to accumulate and for how many years you want to invest?
ये लास्ट 6 से 7-8 ईयर से मैं इन्वेस्ट कर रहा हूँ मैडम।
ओके।
और अभी और एक 5 ईयर्स तक कंटिन्यू करता हूँ।
ओके, कॉर्पस
मैडम?
कॉर्पस
5 लाख रुपीज।
कॉर्पस कितना इकट्ठा करना होगा आपको?
50 लाख मेरे को 2030 में 50 लाख जरूरत है।
50 lakhs. Okay, we'll just get that corrected on the graphics. It's 50 lakhs by 2030. Okay. Okay, Mr. Pradeep, we will help you with your strategy. Nisreen, over to you.
Sure. उनकी Mr. Pradeep, आपको आपकी जो requirement है, it's 50 lakh rupees. But if we calculate at 17,500 rupees SIP, which you are currently doing, up to 2030 at about 12% compounded annualized growth rate. So your target corpus at that time, what you will achieve is about 10,82,000. So it's between 10 to 11 lakhs. So you are running short of nearly, 40 lakhs from your corpus that you require. So for that reason, you will have to either increase your SIP at least 4 times, or you will have to do a step-up SIP. That means every year you increase your SIP by at least 25% in order to meet your goals. Now, so having said that, your portfolio is currently skewed towards sectoral and thematic funds because you have digital and technology to a large extent. So avoid any sectoral funds because your target is only 4 years away. You want the corpus in 2030. So you should not get skewed towards any particular sector. It's diversification will reduce your risk and, help you in achieving your goal in a slightly more balanced fashion. So if your goal is, 50 lakhs, then you are a little further away from your goal and you need to add in more funds. So you can add diversified funds like a flexi cap category. Maybe a suggestion is Motilal Oswal flexi cap fund, or a multi-cap strategy like Mahindra multi-cap fund. So that's where you need to increase your SIPs. SBI, I'll just do a quick review of the funds that you are currently doing. As Kavita has also mentioned, you are sort of over invested in SBI Asset Management Company. So there you run the risk of, sort of too much of concentration with one asset management company and one team of asset managers. You need to diversify there as well. SBI small cap, you can continue. SBI large cap is an average performer. So if you've been already investing for a long period of time, maybe you can switch that fund into another large cap fund. You can look at ICICI large cap fund. ICICI Prudential Value Discovery is a good value strategy. You can continue that. Tata Digital India Fund, it's a little high risk fund because being a sectoral fund. So you can continue that, for the next 3 to 4 years, it should be fine. But otherwise, try to switch over to the diversified categories, which I mentioned earlier, either multi-cap or flexi-cap. SBI Contra Fund is a good long-term holding. SBI Multi-Cap Fund is a good diversified fund. SBI Technology Opportunity, again, it's the same sectoral thematic fund category, which I mentioned earlier. And SBI Retirement Benefit Fund, you can continue that for your retirement planning if you wish. So that's a quick review of where you've already invested, but you are definitely running short of your desired corpus. So you should make arrangements for either reducing that amount or increasing the time frame. Right now, you said that you only have 4 years for your 50 lakh corpus. So either you increase the amounts that you're investing every month with a step-up SIP, or you increase your tenure, or you reduce your desired corpus. Otherwise, as things stand, you won't be in a position to meet your desired corpus. Mr. Sharma.
All right, Mr. Pradeep, is there anything else you want to ask Nisreen? You have to increase your investment amount. You have to make specific changes as far as the funds are concerned, and that's how you can achieve your goal. Anything else, sir?
Okay, thank you, madam.
Okay, all the best. We have Mr. Faheem Ahmed on the phone line with us. Faheem, hi, good evening.
Good evening.
You can ask your question.
हेलो
जी, अपना सवाल आप पूछ सकते हैं फहीम.
मैम ये मैंने जो ये करना पड़ेगा.
Okay, I think there is some problem in the audio. We will get connected, but I have Faheem's question on me. He says that he is 40 years old and he is looking for a review as far as portfolio is concerned. Okay. He's got Nippon India multi-cap, Motilal Oswal mid-cap, Bandhan small-cap, Parag Parikh flexi-cap. He also has DSP multi-asset allocation fund. He's got ICICI Pru large-cap also. He's doing an SIP. He wants to know how much corpus can he accumulate in next 10 years. Okay, so he's been doing 1,200 or 1,000 SIP in each of these funds. And I think he's also sent us his wife's portfolio. So wife has Invesco India small cap. I think it's Kotak multi-cap fund. Okay. And Parag Parikh flexi cap and Bandhan small cap his wife has. And she's been investing 4,000 rupees. Okay. So I'm not sure about the joint corpus. Do we have Faheem on the phone line again with us? Faheem? फहीम, आप मुझसे फोन पर बात कीजिए.
हेलो
फहीम, आपको कितना कॉर्पस इकट्ठा करना है? 10 साल में कितना खड़ा करना चाहते हैं आप पैसा?
मैम कितना हो जाएगा ये लगभग साल में?
Okay. All right, Nisreen, over to you.
Sure. So, Faheem ji, you have a very well diversified portfolio. I'm referring to your portfolio now. So you don't really need any major changes. You're investing in large cap, flexi cap, mid cap, small cap, multi cap, and multi asset. So I wouldn't want to make any changes over there. Your current investment is about, say, about 6,200 rupees, which you are investing in the SIP. Based on that, your future value in 10 years is around 14.5 lakh rupees. provided that, the compounded annualized growth rate for the next 10 years is 12% per annum. So what you can do is you can increase your SIP by, say, 10% every year in order for your future value to be around 21 lakhs. So from 14.5 lakhs, if you increase SIP by 10% annually, then you can hope to get a target corpus of about 21 lakhs in 10 years. As far as your wife is concerned, she is investing about, say, 4,000 rupees across various categories. And it is a very high quality portfolio. I wouldn't want to make any changes on that. For a 10 to 15 year horizon, it's a very good portfolio because she's got flexi cap, multi cap, and small cap. So the recommendation is that, you continue these SIPs and increase them annually, say by 10%, 15%, whatever is suitable for you. And don't have to add any more funds at this stage. Either you or your wife can continue with the same funds, just increase the amounts systematically. And, the biggest opportunity here is for, avoiding any thematic exposure because you've got diversified funds, so continue there only. Don't invest in any single AMC because you need diversification for the AMCs also. And keep your portfolios very simple with high conviction diversified funds, which you already have. So, Faheem ji, aapko, continue like this and all the very best in your investing journey.
All right, Faheem, all the best. I hope you have noted down all the changes recommended by Nisreen. But Nisreen, request you to stay on. It's time for a short break. But before I slip into that break, let's just quickly flash our WhatsApp number and our email ID where you can send across your questions. And we will do your live financial planning on the show. It's 657974571. The monitoring your portfolio-related queries. Nisreen Mamaji is the guest today who is live with us, and we are also joined by a live viewer from Madhya Pradesh, Sant Patel. Hi, good evening, Mr. Patel. You can ask your question.
मैडम मैंने अपना पोर्टफोलियो शेयर किया हुआ है.
Okay. Okay, I will read out the details for you, Mr. Patel. Can you confirm? So you are investing in SBI large and mid cap, HDFC multi-asset, Parag Parikh flexi cap, Bandhan small cap. You are investing 3,000 in all of these except for Parag Parikh flexi cap, in which you are investing 5,000 rupees. And that makes it 14,000 SIP, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, you want to invest more 10,000?
जी मैडम, मैं और 10,000 में इन्वेस्ट करना चाह रहा, तो ये जानना चाह रहा था ये पोर्टफोलियो मेरा कैसा है, इस पर कुछ एडिटिंग की जरूरत है या कुछ नया पोर्टफोलियो में लेके, क्योंकि बहुत ज्यादा फंड रखना नहीं चाहता. मैंने बहुत छोटे से स्टार्ट किया था 500 से और अभी ऐसा है.
बहुत अच्छा, आपने छोटी शुरुआत की और इतना आप निवेश कर रहे हैं. कब तक इन्वेस्ट करना चाहते हैं?
10 to 12 years.
Can I take 12 years because 2 साल का फर्क होगा, so you know that really.
12 years. You 12, consider to 12 years.
And what is the corpus that you want to accumulate? कितना आपको इकट्ठा करना होगा?
मैं से 10% से स्टेप अप करूंगा तो कितना इकट्ठा हो जाएगा?
Every year 10% step up?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, let's help you achieve that goal. Nisreen, what's a ballpark figure you think he can accumulate in next 12 years with a 10% step up every year?
Okay, so right now, as for the earlier information shared, we've done a calculation on the basis of 15 years. Current value is about, say, 4.56 lakhs. And we're doing an investment also of every month, which is about 14,000 rupees. So based on that, if you invest continuously, and also you want to add another 10,000. So on the total amount of, say, 24,000 rupees, the expected corpus in about 15 years is, say, about 1.5 crore rupees at 12% compounded annualized growth rate. And so I'll just answer some of the queries that have been asked. Since you want to add 10,000 rupees, the question was, should you add a new fund? So the response there is, instead of adding another fund, you can increase your current SIPs only, because they're very good quality funds. So the suggested allocation of the additional 10,000 rupees is Parag Parikh flexi cap 4,000 rupees, SBI large and mid cap 2,500 rupees, Bandhan small cap 2,000 rupees, and HDFC multi-asset 1,500 rupees. You also have invested 20,000 rupees in ICICI Prudential Innovation Fund. So you can continue that, but typically keep your thematic funds as 5 to 10% of your portfolio. So this is what your expected corpus would be, say around 1.5 crores in 15 years at the rate of 12% compounded annualized growth rate. Do you have any other questions for Sant Patel?
Mr. Patel, anything else you want to ask?
एक छोटा स्ट्रेटेजी सर यूज करता हूँ, जैसे कि मार्केट गिरा हुआ था, कुछ डाउन हुआ था मार्केट पे वॉर के चलते, तो इन्हीं फंड्स में मैंने कुछ वन टाइम इन्वेस्टमेंट भी किए थे.
Oh, that's lovely. That's a very nice strategy. Yeah. Okay. You want to tell me the lump sum amount? That will really help you understand how much would you achieve. कितना lump sum किया है आप बताएंगे?
At least lump sum something 1 lakh के अब किया हुआ है. जैसे मार्केट गिरता था 1,000 2,000 पॉइंट जैसे गिरता था, उस हिसाब से उसको 10,000 12,000 जो होता था मेरे पास उसको डालता था.
So all in all 1 lakh lump sum in all of these funds मिलाकर.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Okay, so now the calculation differs, Nisreen.
Sure. So basically, this is an excellent strategy. I will just refer to rupee cost averaging, which Mr. Sant Patel has been doing. So every time there's a dip and you are investing a certain amount, you are able to buy more units. Okay. And ultimately, when the NAV rises, these same units which you have bought at lower prices will have a great effect on the portfolio. So obviously, as your figures will change, obviously, and, I won't be able to do it on air right now. But as I said earlier, the most important, takeaway from what you've mentioned is that you've taken advantage of rupee cost averaging by buying on the dips so that you can, keep on increasing your portfolio. And having liquidity at the time when the market corrects is always a challenge for us. But if you're able to do that and, execute the buying at the time when the market is dropped by, say, 2,000 points, or, that's a very good benchmark to keep. You are indeed, increasing your portfolio by leaps and bounds. So I should definitely suggest that you continue to do this. As I've said earlier, your target is about 1.5 crore in 15 years. But by taking these kind of, actions and strategies, you will definitely be looking at a higher figure than that. So we hope that the market will offer you also a better return and keep on investing in this way. Hats off to you. That's a wonderful action that you've taken when the market corrects. All the best, Mr. Patel.
But one more thing on his behalf, I wanted to check with you. So you are asking him not to add any more funds, but then he wants to do a step up. That should be done in these funds only. But now, since he's sorted with the core allocation of his fund, you don't think there is any satellite diversification needed, or maybe an international exposure, not immediately, maybe in 2 to 3 quarters, if possible?
So, basically, I think that he already has Bandhan small cap also. So you have certain small cap category allocations also. I would feel that, if you are taking a view on a certain sector, if you have a view on pharma, for example, or you have a view on, on digital or on infrastructure. So that's a particular view that the investor is, encouraged to take himself or herself, and then allocate certain amounts to a certain sector. But keep the sectoral allocation about 5 to 10% of your portfolio. And also you have to keep on reviewing, because the sector will not, keep on giving you the return for the entire period of your investment, which is nearly 10 to 15 years. So every 3 years, you need to have a review of the sector and make a switch thereby. So that's the only catch to, investing in a sectoral fund. Are you investing in the sectoral fund for the next entire 15 years or not? And currently, what is the view that you have? And, keep on reviewing the entire portfolio and making the necessary switches, Kavita. So definitely, we do encourage sectoral investments. But here, there is a disclaimer. And there's a
more matured in your investing journey, and that's how you land up taking the call. All right. Nisreen, we are time up on the show, but thank you so much for taking your time out for our viewers. And for our viewers, you can keep writing into us on our WhatsApp number and email ID. But before I end this show, markets are constantly evolving, making asset allocation more important than ever. Balanced advantage funds dynamically manage equity and debt exposure to help investors navigate market volatility while seeking long-term growth. But how do these funds work, and who should consider investing in them? Joining us is Jayesh Sundar, Fund Manager, Equity, Axis AMC. Let's listen in.
I'm now joined by Jayesh Sundar. He's the Fund Manager, Equity at Axis AMC. And Jayesh, thanks so much for being here with us today. Today we're going to be talking to you about BAFs, obviously, which are balanced advantage funds, why they are designed for evolving markets. So Jayesh, first question, how are these funds different from traditional mutual funds? Because people often get confused about that.
So if you talk about balanced advantage funds, these come into basically the hybrid category of funds, which means that it can invest into equity as well as fixed income in both of these asset classes. The main characteristic or the main advantage with these funds is that they are quite flexible in terms of the asset allocation. So the fund manager can periodically change the equity and fixed income proportions in these funds, depending upon the market outlook. Now, typically what happens is that, there is a rule-based model which is being followed by most of the fund houses, which guides in terms of what is the ideal asset allocation to be kept depending upon the market circumstances. So let's say it's a very favorable market with good growth and favorable valuations. The fund manager can actually increase the asset allocation or the equity allocation. One more very distinct advantage with balanced advantage fund as compared to some of the other hybrid funds in the similar category is that the range of equity allocation is quite wide. So if you look at on the downside, these funds can go at 20% or below as far as the equity allocation is concerned. And on the upside, it can go at 80% or above as far as the higher end of the equity allocation is concerned. So it's quite a flexible fund category, which ensures that the main mandate or the main advantage of these funds is to generate more risk-adjusted returns and to balance risk and returns. So in comparison to some of the diversified equity funds or your traditional equity funds, which tends to be much more volatile, you can see periods of very low returns or negative returns for a longer period of time. Hybrid fund typically is much more balanced, is much more steady, and aims to provide a steadier return experience to the investors.
Jayesh, from a tax perspective for retail investors, how can they get a tax advantage by investing in BAFs?
So from a tax perspective, again, this fund tends to be extremely, attractive because it has an equity taxation. So what typically happens is that at any given point in time, 65% of the assets, are invested into equities on a gross basis, which means that, it has at a long-term capital gains, it follows it has an equity taxation. Even if the view of the fund manager is negative on the markets and the net equity levels are much below 65%, but at a gross level, that is made up through arbitrage positions, which means that the fund mimics something like a debt fund. It has the characteristic of a debt fund, but it can still enjoy a favorable taxation regime.
Fantastic. Best of both worlds in a way. Last question, Jayesh, before I let you go. What are some things that investors should keep in mind when selecting a balanced advantage fund?
So if you look at this fund category, one of the main characteristic is to, like I mentioned, to have a more favorable or a more balanced approach towards risk and return. So the main thing one have to look out for is how the fund has performed across different cycles. In this fund category, return is not the only objective. No doubt, return is absolutely important. But how the volatility has been managed over the cycle is extremely important. So one has to see where, in case of structural bull markets, how was the fund house able to increase asset allocation in a timely manner and able to capture some bit of the returns. On the other side, if there's a correction in the markets, whether the fund house has been timely in reducing the asset allocation, that is something which one has to keep a watch on. So it would be worthwhile to look at some of the risk metrics, for example, the standard deviation, beta, Sharpe ratios. Some of these ratios would project how the fund has been able to withstand the volatility and deliver more risk-adjusted return.
Thank you, Jayesh, for talking to us today and for shedding light on this important category of mutual funds. Thank you for your time.